Well, let's get some political reaction to the attacks with Republican presidential candidate Senator Ted Cruz taking issue with recent comments that Donald Trump has made about NATO, which is headquartered in Brussels. Trump telling the Washington Post, quote, "We certainly can't afford to do this anymore. NATO is costing us a fortune, and yes, we are protecting Europe with NATO, but we're also spending a lot of money." Senator Ted Cruz's reaction to this earlier today. Listen.
It is striking that the day after Donald Trump called for America weakening NATO, withdrawing from NATO, we see Brussels, where NATO is headquartered, the subject of a radical Islamic terrorist attack.
Well, that reaction was pretty swift. Joining me right now, Congressman Duncan Hunter, a Republican from California. He sits on the House Armed Services Committee. He has also endorsed Donald Trump for president. Congressman, tell us, does Mr. Trump still stand by that position of reducing our role in NATO?
Sure. So let's say this first. It's good that Trump is saying, hey, guys, why don't you carry your own weight so we don't have to carry as much of it? That's not a bad negotiating point. France spends under 4% of its GDP on defense. Germany does the same. Nobody spends what they're supposed to spend on defense in the European Union. NATO does not pull their weight. So why shouldn't Trump say, hey guys, why don't you pull your own weight, because we're not going to pull it for you? I don't think that's a bad negotiating point. Number two, NATO's not there for radical Islam. NATO's there to stop Russia. That's why NATO is in Europe. So that's
in part why NATO is in Europe. But I think a lot of folks, it's caught a lot of attention because a lot of folks are saying, you know, hey, NATO is an important part. We see what Vladimir Putin is trying to do, basically piece the Soviet Union back together little by little. Would President Trump see us as reducing our role in NATO?
No, I don't think so. What I think he wants to have happen is to have NATO pull its own weight. And the best way to do that is to start at the negotiating table, because Trump is an ultimate negotiator, right? That's what he does for a living. For him to sit there and say, hey, guys, we're not going to carry the weight anymore. You have to. So unless you up your defense spending by 1% of GDP over the next 5 years, we're going to stop pulling it as much weight as we're pulling. That's a good negotiating point that gets other countries to do what they should be doing.
Did he say that to you, where he just kind of clarified those remarks?
No, he has not said that to me.
Okay. Let me ask you about this. Of all the Republican candidates that you could have endorsed, why did you decide to endorse him?
Because national security is important, obviously, and border security. I live in San Diego. We have an absolutely porous border in this country, and hopefully what's happened in Paris and Belgium is not a canary in the coal mine for us in the U.S. We have a lot of people coming into this nation. We don't know what they're bringing with them, or what their plans are, or what their background is. So if you think that this is something that could only happen in France or in Belgium, people need to realize this could happen here very easily, and that's one thing that Trump has put out front and foremost. The immigration system that we have is not a post-9/11 immigration system.
Well, let me ask you about that, because Donald Trump came out early this morning. Yes, he came out early this morning and he said, let's have a stop to the visa waiver program, where we basically allow people from 38 different countries to come into the United States without any sort of background checks. Do you see Congress as potentially taking anything like that up this year?
Absolutely.
You do?
But unfortunately, it's going to take, unfortunately, Congress doesn't work unless something bad happens. So hopefully it doesn't take something bad happening for Congress to realize that things have changed. And these are actually Belgian citizens and French citizens that are North African and Arabic that intend to do harm. But they're actual citizens there, so they get an expedited visa process. That is definitely something that we should take up right now.
And Congressman, is that something we could expect you to be taking a lead on?
Absolutely.
All right.
We've already started. Yeah.
Well, when you're ready to do that, come on back and talk to us. I'd love to hear more about that. Congressman Duncan Hunter, thank you so much for your expertise this afternoon. Thanks.